Hi guys, Soften here. Today I watched You're Cordially Invited, and now I want to tell you about it. It's a romantic comedy starring Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon, and an ensemble cast of comedic actors. Written and directed by Nicholas Stoller, the film follows Jim, played by Will Ferrell, and Margot, played by Reese Witherspoon, as they try to work together to save the day after a double booking leaves their loved ones sharing their wedding venue. Okay, this movie is a comedy first, romance second. It starts off by setting up the scenario in a comedic way, and then quickly gets into the fray. Both wedding parties show up at the venue at the same time, and immediately there is a fight between Jim and Margot. They go head to head in an absurdist way throughout the weekend, and the film focuses on their rivalry. Each of them commits a bunch of petty acts that end up ruining the other wedding, and then there's a dramatic makeup and truce signing. The truce lasts about 5 seconds, and then the cycle starts anew. This continues until the apex, where both people magically realize they've acted like fools and start trying to fix everything. So, nothing out of the ordinary for a rom-com. Alright, let's start with the positives. The visual journey takes place on a lakeside island and does a good job of getting across the story. The locations they use are well set up and look nice. The costume work is a bit simple, but has lots of appropriate selection for a wedding. The visuals are a little mundane, but well executed. They also have a bunch of comedic gags along the way to spice things up. The visual gags come often and can elicit a range of reactions from mild chuckles to full-on belly laughs. One of my favorites was watching Will Ferrell fight his way down a hallway of unemployed young people. The coordinated chaos and all the little details just made it into a blast of a scene. I also enjoyed watching Jack McBrayer make silly little faces the entire time. He's so good at expressing different emotions through subtle looks. Sound-wise, the film has a full soundtrack filled with a variety of different songs. They've got a song for every emotion and mood and do a good job of spicing up every scene. They use operatic music for big prank moments and transitions, dance music, a country love song, and a lot of instrumentals. The music tends to come in at the perfect volume, adds a ton of flavor to the scene, but doesn't interfere with the dialogue or scene work. It only enhances. There's also several notable moments where the music straight up drives the story. Like when Will Ferrell is singing the love song with his daughter and it spawns a bunch of great jokes and a plot point for later. Cast-wise, there's a lot of great comedic performances and a lot of decent emotional work. The general cast is called on to play stereotypical comedy characters while the two leads bicker and play exceptional assholes. Across the board, there's a lot of great little emotional moments from different actors like Geraldine Viswanathan, Meredith Hagner, Jimmy Tatro, and Celia Weston. Scenes where they get to express something big and do it in a meaningful way. They don't get a lot of time, but they do a good job with what they're given. Which brings me to the film's negatives. The story doesn't make sense, and it isn't exciting outside of the comedic moments. For logic, it starts with an implausible scenario and gives half-assed comedic answers to get the audience on board. Then it plays out a whole scenario where these two adults act like children trying to ruin someone else's big day to comfort their ego. Lives are upturned, secrets are revealed, and then, in the blink of an eye, both of them suddenly do a 180 and fall in love. It doesn't make a lick of sense and feels cheap, like they're trying to force a conclusion where there isn't one. They also don't give you much reason to keep watching aside from the comedy. We don't learn much about either of the two couples getting married, so there's no investment there. Both of the main characters are assholes intentionally acting petty, so you can't really invest in them either. Basically, if you continue watching, it's because you find it funny. If the humor doesn't catch you, you just aren't going to enjoy this. There also aren't any standout performances here. It's just a bunch of comedy actors doing their thing and getting a few chuckles. They're not going out of their way to create unique characters or make their performances memorable. If you've seen any other Will Ferrell or Reese Witherspoon rom-coms, then you've basically seen everything on offer here. Personally, I was bored to tears with this film. I don't understand telling stories about unsympathetic characters, especially when you try to shoehorn in an ending they don't deserve. Is it really so hard to make them likable? How am I supposed to root for their love story when I want both of them to walk on Lego for eternity? Anyway, I'd give this film a 5 out of 10. It has a few good moments in it, some decent performances, and the visual journey and soundtrack are cleanly executed. That said, it doesn't have much heart to it, and the comedy isn't enough to overcome that barrier. Remember, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.